Hey everyone. So, if you're a bridge player, you definitely know the standard point count system. But I'm willing to bet you've also heard of this other method, one that can feel a little mysterious. It's for evaluating those really wild, unbalanced hands, and it's called the losing trick count. Well, today, we're going to crack that code.
And this question from a player over on Reddit, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of what trips so many of us up. You learn the steps, the how, but nobody ever really explains the why. Well, if you've ever felt that same confusion, you are in the right place. We are going to solve this thing together. Okay, so before we crack open those magic numbers, we got to take a quick look at why this tool, the losing trick count, even exists in the first place. And to do that, we have to rewind a bit and look at the method we all learned on day one, counting high card points.
All right, so high card points. This is our old friend, right? Ace is 4, king is 3, you know the drill. It's simple, it's straightforward, and honestly, for nice, balanced hands, it works great. But here's the thing. Bridge isn't about collecting points, it's about taking tricks. And when a hand gets all shapely with a really long suit and a short one, the point count just can't see its true potential.
And that's where you get those old bridge sayings, right? 5-5, come alive. They're not just cute rhymes, they exist for a very real reason. They're hinting at a hidden power that points alone just can't measure, the power of distribution. A hand with that kind of shape is often way stronger than it looks on paper. So we need a different kind of tool to see that hidden strength. And that tool is the losing trick count, or LTC. Now, instead of counting our winners, we're going to flip the whole script on its head and count our losers. It's a really simple idea when you get down to it. So, how does this thing actually work? Well, the basic version is surprisingly simple. You just look at each suit one by one and start by assuming it has 3 losers. Then, for the top 3 cards in that suit, the ace, king, or queen, you cancel out 1 loser for each one you hold. Now, a singleton is always just 1 loser, and a doubleton is 2. After you do that for all 4 suits, you just add them up. That's your total.
And look, the whole reason we're doing any of this, whether we're counting points or losers, is to get to the real heart of the matter. It's not about some abstract number game. It's all about answering the one question that truly matters in bridge. How many tricks can my partner and I actually take?
Okay, so you've done the math. You've counted up your losers. Let's say you've got a 7-loser hand. Great. What now? This is where we get right back to that Reddit mystery. Why on earth are all the formulas talking about subtracting from 24 and 18? Where do these numbers even come from?
All right, the first piece of the puzzle is the number 12. Think about it. If any one suit can have a maximum of 3 losers and you've got 4 suits, well, the absolute most losers any single hand can possibly have is 12.
But here's where it gets really cool. We stop thinking about just our hand, and we start thinking about the partnership. If the worst your hand can be is 12 losers, well, the same is true for your partner. So together, the partnership's absolute worst-case scenario is
You add those two together and you get 24. That's it. That's our first magic number. It represents the maximum possible losers a partnership can have.
And that number, 24, is the key to the whole system. You start with that maximum possible loser count, 24, and then you subtract your partner's actual number of losers. Whatever's left over, that's the number of tricks you should be able to win. So, for example, if you and your partner both have 7 loser hands, that's 14 total losers. 24 minus 14 is 10. You should be able to take 10 tricks. Go bid that game. All right, so we've cracked the code on 24. But what about 18? Where does that number come from? Well, turns out it's really just a handy little shortcut designed to make the math at the table a bit faster. Okay, think about it like this. To make any contract at all, you have to win the first 6 tricks. Those are called book. So, if you just take our magic number 24 and subtract those 6 book tricks right at the start, you get 18. Now, when you subtract your partnership's losers from 18, the answer you get isn't the number of tricks, it's the actual level you can safely bid to. Using that 14 loser example again, 18 minus 14 is 4. You can bid to the 4 level. See? Just a shortcut. Mystery solved.
But of course, just when you think you've got it all figured out, it's never quite that simple, is it? As any seasoned player will tell you, that simple or dumb LTC method we just learned, it has a pretty big flaw.
Here's the big problem. The basic method treats an ace, a king, and a queen as if they're all the same. Each one just cancels out 1 loser. And as that player rightly put it, that's just absurd. An ace is a guaranteed winner. A queen, well, let's be honest, half the time it feels like a coin flip.
And that's where a smarter, more refined method comes into play. The new losing trick count, or NLTC. Just look at this table. The basic dumb LTC sees all three of these holdings as having 2 losers. But the NLTC is way more nuanced. It knows an ace is super valuable, so it gives that holding fewer losers, and it knows a queen is vulnerable, so it gives that holding more losers. It's just a more accurate picture of reality.
So this NLTC is what a lot of the experts use. It introduces this clever idea of half losers to get more precise, which helps it properly value an ace over a king and a king over a queen. It even tweaks the starting number from 24 up to 25, working on the assumption that once you've found a trump fit, you're pretty much guaranteed one trump trick. It's definitely more advanced, but the fundamental idea is exactly the same. Okay, so now we have the simple tool and the fancy high-precision tool. But the final, and honestly the most important lesson here, isn't about memorizing formulas. It's about knowing when to use them, and maybe more importantly, when to leave them in the toolbox. I love this analogy. Think of all these evaluation methods as tools in your toolbox. High card points? That's your trusty hammer. It's versatile, it's reliable, it gets most everyday jobs done. But the losing trick count? That's your specialized torque wrench. It's incredibly powerful and precise, but only for one very specific job. If you try to use it for everything, you're going to break something. So, when do you pull out that specialized torque wrench? This right here. This might be the single most important thing to remember. You should only ever use the losing trick count after you and your partner have found an 8-card trump fit or better. That is the #1 non-negotiable rule. Using it for no-trump contracts or on nicely balanced hands is probably the biggest and most costly mistake you can make with this tool.
You know, at the end of the day, getting better at this game isn't just about memorizing more formulas. It's about developing the judgment and the wisdom to know which tool to reach for and when. The losing trick count is a brilliant way to see the hidden power in your hand, but its real secret isn't in the math. It's in knowing when to trust it. Definitely something to think about next time you pick up your cards.